I want to make games, but I don't know where to start. Okay, that is a bit of hyperbole and a casual lie. To be more specific, I want to be a game designer and develop games. And while I know where to start, I've tried multiple times, but for a range of reasons, I have not gotten far along in the process yet. I find that now I have the chance to start again, and I want to go about things differently this time to get some more fruitful results. Wisdom states it's prudent to have a plan, even if by mice and men it may fall awry later on down the line. I do have wild dream games that are born from years of the desire to emulate my favorite gaming experiences, and would love to launch into developing and documenting them with a lofty series like Bringing My Dream Game to Life, Devlog Number A. In the longest of term plans, I want to make those games, but instead of viewing them as goals, I personally think of them like goal posts, a rather elevated and wide area of possible success that requires a favorable position and a strong force behind some vehicle to even attempt. Yet even then, they rely on luck to score. Though, I am ostensibly at the other end of the field and must be more focused on the step-by-step and inch-by-inch of forward momentum. This change and these coming videos are a critical part of that momentum. It's no secret that recapping information is a boon to the learning process because it leverages the natural human tendency to latch on to recontextualized information, especially when it applies to ourselves. Every time you start learning something, you have a unique experience with it, from how you're feeling in the moment to how easily the information comes to you to whatever else you associate with what you are learning. By going back and doing recaps in a reasonable time frame, you're not only just solidifying the information, but also subconsciously making connections to your previous experience. Moments of, oh, this makes sense now. I remember having my doubts, and I covered this in an hour? That felt like it dragged on. And this honestly still confuses me. Does it relate to anything I learned later? All of those minor thoughts and feelings compound to boost that information retention. And what better way to recap than to make a video? Makes sense to me, which is why I'm going to be making videos documenting my learning process. Admittedly, this is going down a much less content route and a much more personal route. Earlier, I was making Let's Play videos and even live streaming, but something as simple as that just wasn't maintainable due to problems with my joints and long-term pain making dreams of sleep a waking nightmare. Yet, in all the time I couldn't do the things I wanted, I found myself watching a lot more media and consuming much more media analysis and discovering game dev channels, which then led me to recording and dictating thoughts and ideas and plans of my own. As mentioned earlier, I would love to do long-term projects, stream game jams, and then do some like make X game in 24 hours videos, because that's the type of content that I absolutely love. Challenge is the heat which engulfs the crucible of innovation. But setting a foundation is my priority now. I've been in a start and stop rut for over 2 years now due to my health. And finally, with some headway being made on the health front, and with the fact that I'm feeling actively better, I'm going to use my resources and this channel as a part of getting better. Thus, with that addressed and put to rest, here I am, and here we go. The plan for now is to focus early on learning the basics of character creation in Blender, simple game making in Godot, and basic shader coding. I need to keep ease and flexibility of development in mind. I've landed on learning Blender because of its 3D capabilities, free price, and wealth of features both included and community made. My art skills overall are lacking, and doing something like 2D digital drawings or my beloved pixel art is just too physically painful and time-consuming for me right now. Though a general eye for style and artistic effect will come over time, I need something that I can get off the ground and working more quickly. So, to me, when it comes to generally blocking out characters, roughing out animations at scale, and populating a generic area, I feel 3D is the way to go. Now, you may wonder, hey Pix, if pixel art is too painful, why are you using it for the video? Are you stupid? Funny. I'm using it here because I can draw loosely and disregard essential things like the concept of readability, color palette construction, or animation polishing and detailing. It's far easier to plan out and freewheel a page that illustrates the general gist of a script as opposed to focusing in on the pixel by pixel details frame by frame. And when I'm doing my recaps, I'll actually have recorded video of the work that I'm doing to show, so it won't always just be these little pixel guys. Speaking of, I'm a big fan of Polygon Runway and Grant Abbott. So months ago, when Grant Abbott was doing a discount on his 3D courses, I bought some and I've been wanting to use them since then. That guy has a great grasp of teaching, but he also actively will mention and construct ways to show off shortcuts and tricks in all forms of Blender development, so I'll be going through those courses to get started. Later on, I can revisit whether or not to focus on 2D or 3D or hand-drawn or pixel art when I know how best to utilize them within the engine. Speaking of the engine, I'm going with Godot. I've gone through a few basic courses and made some guided games in Unity, and I've looked at Unreal casually, but given that I am rather unspecialized and still retain my fundamental understanding of coding, the ever-developing and easily engaging Godot engine seems like a good option to investigate. I found the GD Quest YouTube channel a while ago and I decided to watch for a bit. Thus, I have this vague feeling of comfort when I see the Godot layout, despite having never actually used it to make anything yet. The GD Quest channel is very helpful and very informative, and they also made the Learn to Code app, which should give me the basic rundown of GD Script. That's Godot's coding language, no problem. A couple of notes on this. Currently, most of the info and projects concerning Godot focus on 2D development, which would clearly run counter to my 3D work in Blender, but I think not entirely. Since I'm just starting out, and I'm looking for exposure to the engine, and given that the courses will come with assets already included, I feel no problem with starting out in a slightly different camp, because I would assume that the core of using GD Script, what to expect with certain hallmark functions, and the overall node structure aren't going to vary wildly between dimensions. It would also seem to be a good thing to get involved now, as the open source side of Godot is being rapidly, actively developed. Using and highlighting the pain points of development with the engine can lead to more easily finding a solution or passing word along with the hopes something might get fixed. Who knows? With enough experience, it may be possible to get in and fiddle with the values myself. Shaders are great because fiddling with the values is practically the whole experience and a powerful way to make many experiences better. In all of the searching and watching I've done, the topic of shaders has regularly appeared as one of the most mystical and magical. Mystical because with some mentions of functions and some rapid key tapping, real-time effects are applied and combined such that even a simple game can be made many more times engaging, akin to squeezing a lake of juice from a grape. Magical because you need a well-founded understanding of math, which then needs to be translated into GLSL, and oftentimes the application of which can cause effects that are undesired or downright baffling, so you may as well go copy the runes from somebody else's spellbook. Luckily though, there are some mad wizards out there who have insanely helpful spellbooks like Inigo Quiles, The Art of Code, and Kishimitsu. I actually decided to make learning shaders a priority because of a tutorial video posted by Kishimitsu, which resulted in this trippy color-changing pattern. From there, I was able to find the Book of Shaders online, and I think following through the book would be a great way to get started. As alluded to earlier, I feel that learning some shader coding is a great way to add juice to a game, which compounds upon itself. Since it's math-based, once I learn where and how to apply even simple effects, every project past that point can possibly benefit from the exact same code. That's what I believe, at least. But faith doesn't make a game, it only inspires one. Practicality and schedule-wise, I'm going in the order that I laid out in this video. The first week will be the Grant Abbott course, where day by day I do the lessons, record progress, and then lay a video together over the weekend. Next, the same for the Godot app, and finally for the Book of Shaders. Now, I expect that this plan is not going to go exactly as I have laid out, so my thought is that to maintain the course of progress, I should build in mini recaps after major milestones. For example, some of the courses that I have from Grant Abbott are Low Poly, Anime Character Creator, and Blender Character Creator, but initially, I just want to complete the Low Poly course and move on. So, once that course is done, I can create a new Low Poly character as a side project while moving on with learning Godot. If the app takes 2 weeks to complete, then I won't be left having only worked on Godot, I'll still have been keeping sharp with Blender. Then, when learning shaders, I can see if there are plugins for Blender and Godot, or ways to shade the camera with Blender and Godot and have another side project going there too. In this way, I gain momentum with learning new things, practice and refine what I've learned, and find ways to tie them together. All in all, the next big point of adjustment will come when I've made significant progress with these 3 pursuits, and then make a plan for another 3 pursuits, or adjust deepening my knowledge as it seems fit. So here I am, and here we go.